Hi everybody. Today I would like to talk about how to write a thesis statement for a literature paper. Just as a reminder, the thesis statement is the single most important sentence of the essay. It appears at the end of the introduction. It presents the idea that the paper is about to prove. Now, for a literature thesis statement, there are some items that must be present in your thesis statement, and I'm going to review those. First and foremost, you must present the author's name and the title of the story, poem, play, or novel that you are about to discuss. You cannot assume that your reader has read the piece of literature you are about to discuss. That is key. Always remember that the literature you are about to discuss is completely foreign to your reader. So your thesis statement needs to present enough background information so that the reader can follow along, okay? Now, your thesis statement must also tell me what is your idea here? What are you saying about the literature? What does it mean? You also need to present to me how the literature presents that meaning, and ultimately, why is that important? Why is your idea important to learn? Okay, so there are 5 components of the thesis statement for a literature paper, and I'm going to go and give you some examples right now, okay? Okay, I'm going to encourage you to pause right now and read this thesis statement before I read it. Give yourself a second to digest the thesis statement and look at the different items inside of the thesis statement, okay? So take a pause. All right, I'm going to read right now. So this thesis statement is, Jamaica Kincaid uses structure and diction in her story Girl to create the feeling of suffocation so that the reader, as well as the girl, are overwhelmed by the rules and regulations placed on women. Okay, so this sentence really spells out exactly the direction of the paper. There's no guessing game here. The reader is fully aware of where this paper is headed, okay? First, we know that the author of the literature is Jamaica Kincaid. We know that we're talking about a story called Girl. All right, we know that the story is about the feeling of suffocation, the feeling of being trapped. Now, how does Jamaica Kincaid present this idea? She uses structure and diction. Now, finally, why is the feeling of being trapped and suffocated important? Why in the world is this an important idea to study? Well, I believe that Jamaica Kincaid is also making a social commentary that the rules and regulations placed on women are suffocating. Okay, so there's a relationship between what the story is about and why it's important to read or learn. Okay, so look at these items again. Now, does your thesis statement have to appear in author, title, what, how, and why? Does it have to appear in that order? The answer is no. Okay, you can vary the order of the items. You just need to remember that a thesis statement for a literature paper has a job to do, and you do need to present a certain amount of information, okay? I'm going to give you another example now. Again, I'm going to encourage you to pause and read this thesis statement so that you can digest it on your own. Okay, so take a second, read, and think. All right, I'm going to read now. Kate Chopin, in her short story, The Story of an Hour, uses imagery and irony to convey the idea that women are always trapped, and ultimately a woman can only be free in death. All right, so we have our items, and we know what this paper is about to discuss and what this paper is about to prove. The author is Kate Chopin. We're talking about her specific short story, The Story of an Hour. Now, Kate Chopin uses imagery and irony, that's the how, to convey the idea that women are always trapped. Now, why is this important? Why do we care that a woman is trapped? Well, because a woman can only be free in death. That's the important sort of why. Why is it important to learn? Okay, so just like the last thesis statement, you'll notice that these two thesis statements talk about two elements of fiction. So it depends on how long your paper will be, but let's just say for fun that your paper is going to be a 4-paragraph essay. So an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So you would have 1 paragraph about imagery and 1 paragraph about irony. Let's say your paper is going to be longer. Let's say your paper is a 6-paragraph essay, an introduction, 4 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So now let's say you have 3 body paragraphs on imagery and 1 body paragraph on irony. So please notice that this thesis statement does have an element of a list in it so that it helps direct your body paragraphs. So your body paragraphs have a purpose and have control. There is a specific direction. The paragraph is going to talk about one specific element of fiction or poetry or drama, and it's going to prove how that device proves what the story's about and why it's important. Okay? So I suggest going back and thinking about thesis statements. Again, the thesis statement will appear in the last sentence of your introduction. It must provide context information by the name of the author and the title of the story or poem or play. You must tell me what the story is about and why it's important, and ultimately how the author conveys this. All right? So I hope this helps, and good luck on your first essay.